Physical controls. Physical controls a 7.10. A 7.10 storage media. Storage media shall be managed through their life cycle of acquisition, use, transportation, and disposal in accordance with the organization's classification scheme and handling requirements. Physical controls a 7.10. 2 audit. 1. Storage media management policies and procedures. Ensure the organization has formal policies covering the entire life cycle of storage media, acquisition, use, transportation, disposal. Verify that the policies align with data classification schemes and comply with relevant regulations, e.g., GDPR, HIPAA, PCI-DSS. Physical controls a 7.10. 2 audit. Second life cycle of storage media. Verify that storage media acquisition includes inspection, sanitization, and security feature verification, e.g., encryption capabilities. Ensure that during use, storage media are encrypted, access controlled, and physically protected, with audit logs maintained for sensitive media. Physical controls a 7.10. 2 audit. Third, data classification and handling requirements. Ensure the organization's data classification scheme is applied throughout the media lifecycle with appropriate controls for sensitive data, e.g., encryption, labeling. Verify that media with different classification levels are segregated and access is controlled based on classification. Physical controls a 7.10. 2 audit. Fourth, compliance with legal, regulatory, and industry standards. Ensure the organization's storage media management processes comply with regulatory requirements for secure data destruction and disposal. Verify that industry standards, e.g., ISO 27001, NIST SP 853, NIST 888, are followed for secure disposal and media handling. Physical controls a 7.10. 2 audit. Fifth, asset tracking and inventory management. Verify that the organization maintains an inventory of storage media, tracking type, owner, classification, and location. Ensure that proper audit trails are maintained for the movement and handling of media, and that inventory is regularly updated. Physical controls a 7.11. A 7.11 supporting utilities. Information processing facilities shall be protected from power failures and other disruptions caused by failures in supporting utilities. Physical controls a 7.11. 2 audit. 1. Policies and procedures for supporting utilities protection. Verify that the organization has formal policies to protect facilities from disruptions due to utility failures, e.g., power, HVAC, water. Ensure the policies address risks related to utility failures and comply with relevant standards, e.g., ISO 27001, NIST, PCI-DSS. Physical controls a 7.11. 2 audit. Second, power supply and backup systems. Verify that critical facilities are supported by uninterrupted power supply, UPS systems, and backup generators, regularly tested and maintained. Ensure that automatic failover mechanisms are in place for seamless transitions to backup power in case of disruptions. Physical controls a 7.11. To audit. 3. Redundancy and reliability of other supporting utilities. Confirm that HVAC systems are redundant and monitored to prevent single points of failure, with contingency plans for cooling system failures. Verify the presence of water and flood protection systems, including automated water leak detection and elevated physical controls, a 7.11. To audit. Fourth, incident response and disaster recovery plans. Ensure that the organization has an incident response plan for utility failures and disruptions, including recovery procedures for critical utilities. Verify that the disaster recovery plan includes contingencies for utility failures and that backup sites or alternative power sources are part of the plan. Physical controls, a 7.11. To audit. Fifth, maintenance, testing, and monitoring. Ensure that critical systems, UPS, generators, HVS, undergo scheduled maintenance and regular testing to confirm readiness during disruptions. Verify that environmental and system performance monitoring is in place, with alerting mechanisms to notify staff of potential disruptions. Physical controls a 7.12. A 7.12 cabling security. Cables carrying power, data, or supporting information services shall be protected from interception, interference, or damage. Physical controls a 7.12. To audit. 1. Cabling security policies and procedures. Ensure that the organization has formal policies covering the protection, installation, and monitoring of cables, addressing physical damage and interception risks. Verify that policies comply with relevant standards, e.g. ISO 27001, NIST, and legal requirements for sensitive data transmission. Physical controls of 7.12. To audit. 2nd, physical cabling infrastructure and protection. Inspect cable routing to ensure that cables are installed in secure areas, reducing exposure to unauthorized personnel or environmental risks. Ensure that sensitive cables are isolated from less sensitive ones, and check that cables in secure areas are within locked enclosures or trays. Physical controls of 7.12. To audit. 3rd, cable management practices. Verify that cables are properly labeled, identified, and documented to aid maintenance and reduce accidental damage. Ensure that cables are organized using cable ties or trays to prevent tangling and exposure, reducing risks of physical damage or interception. Physical controls of 7.12. To audit. 4th, protection against interception and physical damage. Ensure cables carrying sensitive data are shielded to prevent interception or interference, and apply encryption where necessary. Verify that cables are protected from physical damage by using environmental protection measures, e.g., fire-resistant cables, waterproof sheathing. Physical controls of 7.12. To audit. 5th, maintenance, change management, and vendor involvement. Ensure that proper maintenance procedures are in place to protect cables during installation, repair, and upgrades, including lockout to tagout processes. Verify that third-party contractors follow cabling security standards and have appropriate training on the organization's security policies for cabling infrastructure.